So here's one of the mistakes that a lot of men make. They tend to sometimes only focus on what's happening with them and that woman specifically. Now, granted, that is what would be most important in a lot of cases, but it doesn't give you the full picture of this woman's character, all right? And what kind of person she is. You have to pay attention to not just how she is with you early on, but how she treats other people. Because I can almost assure you that if she does, or if she has a certain character trait about her that she shows with other people, you're going to feel that wrath later. So when she is someone who is very inconsiderate of other people's feelings, whether that be her friends, family, co-workers, whatever, it shows a very selfish mindset. It shows a mindset that says, F everyone else, it's about me, how I feel, what matters to me, all right? And again, even if you have not experienced that with her just yet, it's going to come your way. And one of the reasons why you may not have experienced that with her is, one, because there just may not have been a situation that arose that would bring that out of her, all right? But also because, listen, some women are really good at hiding some of those things early on. But no one is such a great liar that they can hide it completely. There are always hints. There are always red flags. We just have to learn how to be aware of them and then how to properly address them to see, okay, what's really going on here. So you've got to take an inventory of how she treats other individuals. Hell, even when you're out and about, I'm thinking of moments of like how she treats if you guys go to a restaurant, how she treats the server. You know what I'm saying? Anybody. That is going to give you a glimpse into what's going on. So be mindful of that, because that is a red flag you have to look into. Now, the second sign that she is selfish and doesn't deserve you is that she has an entitled mindset and does not show appreciation. So let's start with the showing of appreciation. Believe it or not, a lot of advice out there tells you things like, don't do this for a woman, don't do that, so on and so forth, right? And I disagree with a lot of it, because the problem is when you don't do these actions that pour into someone else, you're making it harder for yourself to expose what kind of person they really are. So the problem isn't doing something for her, doing X, Y, Z. The key is paying attention. Does she respect it? Does she honor it? Does she appreciate it? Does she pour back into you? You'll be able to see this quicker by doing things for her. All right. Now, of course, don't do things to the point of making yourself broke just to try to see what kind of woman she is. Don't put yourself in a bad position, but don't be closed off either, because I would rather you, let's just say, for example, some guys may think, well, I'm not paying for the first date. We got to go Dutch. If that's your thing, that's your thing. But to me, I see it as I'm going to pay because I want to see how she responds to that. I want to see, does she show appreciation for me taking her out on this date? I want to see if, not that this is like a deal breaker, does she offer to cover the tip if I'm paying for the dinner? You know what I'm saying? Little things like that give you an idea of what kind of woman you're dealing with. So all that to say, it's important that we pay attention to, is she showing you appreciation when you do things for her? Or does she have this mindset of, well, that's what you're supposed to do. Well, you're the man, so you're supposed to do this for me. Whatever the case may be. And in being entitled, sorry that I'm losing my train of thought, but in being entitled, again, does she show a lack of respect for the efforts that you make? Because to her, it's, well, that's what's supposed to happen. That's what I deserve. I'm the prize. I'm this, I'm that. But she does not give you the same energy back in return. All right. So it's not only in how she reacts to certain things, because some women will expose themselves in the way that they discuss certain things. And that's why, again, as men, we have to learn how to use conversation to help bring out truth out of a woman. All right. I always say, you keep someone talking long enough, they will expose themselves. All right. No one is so good that they can just lie nonstop. But you have to make sure that you are present in the conversation. You are paying attention. You are taking mental note. All right. And not just passing time and just happy to be on the phone with her or happy to be in her presence, because that's what blinds a lot of men, and they miss it when clear red flags pop up. All right, so let's keep this going. Now, the third sign that a woman is selfish and is trying and doesn't deserve you is she's very controlling. All right. So the reality is that a lot of women have been hurt. A lot of women have not healed. I'm not saying that to make excuses or validate behavior. I'm explaining these things to you. And out of this hurt and lack of healing, there are many who now come into relationships trying to control everything. All right. So it's not even this maliciousness towards you specifically. All right. So don't take it like as this personal attack on you when a woman tries to be controlling. It's more so out of this survival mindset. It's what she's doing to, in her mind, protect herself. But it is an extremely unhealthy, toxic behavior that's going to lead to more problems. Not just because being that controlling itself is an issue, but because, again, it speaks to the deeper issue she has within her that she has not resolved. Because I can tell you this with confidence. If a woman is healed and healthy, or just, let's just say by chance, she has not been through any of that trauma yet, if she's been lucky enough, and she is with a man who she is truly into, truly respects, truly loves, the last thing she's thinking about is trying to control you. All right. That's just not the thing that happens. If anything, she'll slide more into just submitting to you in a loving way, not that something that you should take advantage of or misuse, but something that you should respect and honor in return. So you have to understand that her attempt to control is a symptom of a deeper issue. All right. But again, it doesn't just stop at she's controlling for the vast majority of women. It will pour over into other aspects of the relationship. It will pour over into how she treats you. It will pour over into being dismissive of your feelings, but wanting her feelings respected. Because again, remember, the woman who's trying to control in the vast majority of cases, if not all, is in her mind or subconsciously trying to protect herself. It's about how she feels and what's in her best interest. So when you guys have an argument and a clash and you have genuine concerns and feelings, well, to her, her priority is how she feels. What matters to her. What you feel, it's far down the list. All right. And you're not going to win that battle. So if she is not able to let go of this control that she's attempting to have due to wherever fear it stems from, you cannot try to continue to have a relationship with this woman. It would be pointless. You can let her go. But again, I just want to reiterate, we don't need to harbor any ill will towards this woman. We don't need to carry any negative emotion and hurt from this. We have to understand that a lot of people are functioning out of brokenness. All right. And the actions they're taking is not personal to us. It is a representative of the deeper issues within them. All right. So we got a couple more. So another sign she is selfish is that she never offers to do things for you or is willing to do things for you. Okay. So quick story. I knew a dude who he was with his girl. He was providing for her. And again, I'm a believer in men being providers, so I don't see anything wrong with that. But she essentially wanted him to pay for everything, even though she had some money. So he hit me up and was like, yo, what do you think about this? Should I get her this extra thing that she wanted, even though I'm already paying for all this other stuff? And I'm going to be real with y'all. I said to him, listen, my concern, and let me just frame this by saying he's extremely well off. So this is not a man who's hurting for money, okay? But I said to him, I said, listen, man, my concern isn't whether or not you pay for that thing. My concern is, what does this woman do for you in return? How does she make your life easier? What burdens does she take off your back? And he said, well, honestly, she don't do anything, all right? It was like, yo, like when errands need to be run, he has to handle it. When this needs to be taken care of, he has to do. Like, he literally did everything. And I said, okay, this is the problem. She does not have a willingness to do for you, as well as she never even offers to make your life easier. This is clearly a selfish woman. This is clearly a woman you should not be with. Again, I will always be okay with pouring into a woman if she's pouring back into you. That's it. It's all about reciprocating that energy. And if we're doing that, we're good. But when that's not happening, that's a problem. And you can't get so caught up in trying to show a woman you love her that you become blind to the fact that she does not pour back into you. Because that's what happens to a lot of guys. A lot of men, they may believe in being providers as well, but they get so caught up in that mindset that they forget to take any inventory of how she is showing up for him. And that's not going to work like that. And if anything, you may even have to create a space that allows her to be able to add value to your life. And what I mean by that is, if you are in a position where, let's just say, you make the kind of money that you could have, your money can take care of everything. You can get a chef, you can get a maid, you can do all this stuff. You're not really leaving her any room. You have an assistant already. And again, I know that's not the average man's lifestyle. I'm just giving an example of, if there's a scenario where you literally have every role filled by other people that she could have stepped into to make your life easier, then you might have to find a way to create space for her to do that. Or if you're okay with her just being there, that's your choice, but at least you recognize it's not out of an unwillingness to do it. It's out of the fact that you are not giving her the opportunity to. That's different. But a woman should still be trying to find a way to be of value to you. If she truly loves and cares about you, she will want to. If intimacy has already been introduced and now she stops, this is a red flag that needs to be addressed. Okay? Now, again, we don't automatically assume she is sleeping with someone else. But has that been the case in many situations? Yes. For a lot of women, not all, a lot of women have difficulty being intimate with two people at once. All right. So when they're having intimacy with someone else, or they're even emotionally invested in someone else, it makes it harder for them to be receptive to you sexually. All right. Now, again, it could be other issues. It could be the quality isn't what it needs to be. And as men, it is good to open yourself up to constructive criticism in the bedroom, because listen, the goal has to be how we can make sure we're both happy and satisfied here, not just you. And the more you two can get on the same page with that, it actually strengthens the relationship overall. Okay. It could be other things she's uncomfortable about. For example, I know a couple, they were married, where the woman had gained some weight. And even though to the man the weight was not a problem, and he still found her very attractive and desired her sexually, she was very self-conscious about it. And it made her want to be intimate less. All right. So there's a lot of different possibilities. So keep an open mind when you do address this with her to see what it is. Don't attack, don't assume, ask, be willing to hear her out. But yes, it is something that has happened to a lot of men where she stopped being intimate with them because she was investing time or intimacy into someone else. And, things went downhill from there. All right, so let's move things along. Second sign she may be seeing someone else is she's extremely private with her phone and her phone calls. All right. So, if you stay on the internet long enough, it would seem like only men hide their phone or got things going on in their phone. But the reality is that, there's a lot of women moving that way too. And When a phone call comes, they got to leave the room. You know, they got that thing locked. You can't ever touch it. They don't never let you use it for anything. All right. They are super guarding that phone. And again, that is a bad sign. Because for most people, I don't ever want to eliminate the possibility that some people have become very private with their phone. I'm trying to keep an open mind about that. But for the vast majority of people, when you got nothing to hide, you just don't care. All right? And when you care that much, there's usually something you're hiding. Something. Even if it's not she's seeing someone else, there's probably something that's off here. Okay? Hell, I don't know why this is coming to my mind, but it could be as simple as she ain't really serious about you and she got conversations in there with friends and whoever that would expose that she's just using you. It could be something like that. It could be a lot of different things. Either way, again, we don't jump to conclusions, we address. But it is a concern. Now, I have to throw this in. You can't expect the woman to be open and transparent with her phone if you ain't open and transparent with yours. All right? I'm not saying there ain't some men who pull that off, okay? But that's really not a healthy dynamic. You've got to be willing to set the lead for what you expect in your relationship. So if you want open and transparency, if you believe in that, then you've got to be willing to open your phone up to her as well. All right? And now it also makes it easier for you to hold her to that standard, because if you're going to say, nah, well, I'm the man, I can keep my phone private, but you got to show me your phone. Well, she's going to feel like you're being hypocritical. She's going to be more reluctant. It can create other tensions because now it will make her feel like, well, then you're the one that's hiding something and you're the one that I have to now investigate if you're seeing someone else. So consider how you're moving to make sure you establish the healthy rules and the healthy approach we're going to take to having a successful relationship. All right. So next sign she is undoubtedly, unmistakably seeing someone else is that she starts acting funny or acting different. All right. Now, this can encompass a lot of different things. So if for example, she's always wanted to be around you, she's giving you quality time, and nothing specific to your knowledge has come up, meaning a new job that maybe is new hours for her or something significant that you're aware of, an event taking place, whatever. But all of a sudden, she's not hanging out as much anymore. She's not requiring your time as much anymore. She's kind of pulling back. Then you do have to consider, okay, what's going on here? Now, again, it can always, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but it can always be a lot of different things. But typically, and let me make this also point clear, it's one thing for a woman to start acting funny and pull away altogether. And like, let's say you guys are in the date, already in a relationship. If she's pretty much pulling away from the relationship altogether, as in she wants to walk away, and she's even maybe mentioned that, right? And maybe she's kind of priming you to being ready for her exit, then it's not even just about if she's seeing someone else. She just clearly doesn't want to be there anymore, right? To me, it's even more concerning when she's still trying to hold on to the relationship, right? So she's not saying she wants to break up or anything, but she's withdrawing in all these different ways. So that, to me, in many cases, again, not all, comes across like you are the security blanket. You are all right, if this other situation fails, I still got you in my back pocket. I still can trust, all right, this is my chance to get married or whatever the case may be. So let me keep this here while I explore some of these other situations or this other situation. And only if I can get confirmation that this other situation is legit and going to move forward, then I'll let go of our current relationship. Otherwise, I'm just going to hold on and play both sides. So again, talk about it, address it. And as a man, I think sometimes men are hesitant to express their need or desire for time and attention. All right. I think women they're more comfortable with doing that. Men may feel like they don't want to come across a certain kind of way. You might be trying to play tough, play hard. But listen, man, you got to be true to yourself. And if you're a type of dude who requires more time and attention, and that's what you want from your partner, you got to let that be known. Because if she can't honor it, then there's no point in continuing with her. Whether she's seeing someone else or not, there's no point in continuing if she can't give you what you need. All right, so let's keep this going. Number 4. And before I give you number 4, quick reminder again, whether you are going through this, have gone through this, or as I mentioned earlier, know there's past issues that you need to resolve, get the book, Love After Heartbreak. Again, you can click the link in the description or in the comments section. It's going to help you. Do all the steps. Trust me, they might be tough, but if you do it, you're going to see the results, man. And again, it's not just about a relationship. It's about you and your overall quality of life. We don't understand how letting these things linger have a negative impact on us. And when you resolve it, you're going to see your life get so much better in so many different ways. But anyways, to continue, number 4 is she stops putting effort into the relationship. So this is basically an extension of number 3. And so it's just that, again, you got to evaluate, has her overall behaviors and her energy and effort into the relationship has changed, okay? And again, as I mentioned in a previous point, don't be so quick to come down on her. And it's not even about coming down on her. It's just about addressing it in a calm, confident manner, all right? That's the key. Address it in a calm, confident manner. But understand, are you doing your part? That's just real. Like as men, I'll keep repeating it. I'm going to say it in so many different videos. We can't be talking like we're supposed to be the leaders of the relationship and then we don't stand in that leadership role. We don't set the proper example. We can't just make it, well, she's not doing this or these women do that. No, what are you doing? What are you doing to establish how you want things to be in your life and in your relationship and even in your dating process? All right. So if you know you're doing your part, you are putting forth the effort, you are making yourself available, you are showing up the way you need to show up, then you absolutely must hold it to that standard. Now, even if you're not doing that, it doesn't mean you are not able and you shouldn't address the issue. It just means in that scenario, you have to come in with acknowledging that you could be doing better too and finding out which areas she needs you to improve in, while calling out the areas that you would like to see improvement from her. But also getting to the root of why did this stop in the first place? What caused the shift in your behavior? Why are you acting different? Talk to me. Let me understand what's going on here. Because we got to get to the foundation, the root of it, so that now we know how to, I hate using the word guard, but how do we know to avoid that problem going forward? Now that I know, okay, this triggered this situation, cool. But of course, if it's just flat out she's seeing someone else, then that's a whole nother problem, but still talk to her. All right, and the 5th sign, and let me just say, there's a lot more signs I could have gave, right? But I'm trying not to make the video too long. So we just did 5 today. There might be another video in the future where I'll give some more. But the 5th sign that she is seeing someone else is that she doesn't bring you into her world. And so when I say her world, I'm talking social media, I'm talking family, I'm talking friends. So now let's break down all 3 real quick. Let's start with friends. Friends, I'm a little bit more open to her not being quick to bring you around her friends, only because some women don't trust their friends, all right? And it's a sad situation, but some of them want to make sure their relationship is strong first before they start bringing other women around their man. Again, that's a her problem. That's the circle she's with problem. That's not you. But I'm just saying, if she hasn't brought you around her friends yet, I'm not quick to be like, oh, okay, there's a huge problem. Doesn't mean you can't talk about it. I'm just saying I've seen that scenario. But let's go to family. To me, there's less of a reason for her not to at least bring you around family, because there's more of a belief that family aren't going to cross that line. All right. And if she's not, and family can be male and female, so there's no reason why she couldn't bring you around her male counterparts. Probably would want them to check you out, things of that nature. But I'm going to throw out a quick story that's just crazy and I just want y'all to know about. I met a woman, long story short, who said, this is going to sound crazy. I know it's going to make women look bad, but don't. Let me say this. When we hear stories, man, we got to remember it's about the individual, not about the whole group of women, all right? Let's not do what some women do and project negative situations onto everyone. We got to be better than that, all right? But this one woman, she mentioned how when she likes a guy and is attracted to him, and she brings that guy around her mother, and the mother approves of that man, she is no longer attracted to that man. So all that to say, like, in her case, she probably delays bringing men around her mother. But again, that speaks to her own deeper issue, all right? If I'm honest, there was a guy I recently ran into. He's been dealing with this woman, and when he's giving me the stories, I'm hearing all the inconsistencies with her willingness to be affectionate to him. Now, let me make clear, when I say affection, I'm not even talking about sex, all right? Let's remove sex for a second and just really look at it as affection, hugging, kissing, all these things. The things that a healthy woman typically is not gonna have a problem doing if she really likes a guy. Plain and simple. Like, if anything, women, a lot of women, we could argue most women, depends on who you ask, value the affection more than the sex. All right? So when they're unwilling to engage in the affection consistently, this is a huge red flag. Now, here are a couple things to consider. What I have seen. When the woman is very inconsistent with her affection, and again, I'm always a firm believer. I say it in my videos to the women. I'm going to say it to y'all. When there's a red flag, you address it. You just don't cut her off. You just don't jump to conclusions. You address it because maybe it's a correctable issue. Maybe she doesn't understand. You know, maybe she doesn't know what your desires are for affection. So you have to be forthcoming about that. However, once it's addressed, and in some of these situations that I'm thinking about now, these involve men who address them, and the woman continued to be inconsistent. So one of those reasons why she's inconsistent, and it happened in this previous situation, she wasn't really attracted to the man. Quick story. I remember one woman, this is a sad story, but one woman where she told me how she dated a guy for 8 years. She wasn't attracted to him, but he was helping with bills and he was there for her in different ways. So she wanted to hold on to these benefits. And she said literally she had to get drunk to have sex with him every time. She would make herself drink just so she could have sex every single time. Now, of course, nobody can keep that up forever. All right. And that's where you start to see a lot of inconsistency, because now when she doesn't have her liquor on hand, I'm not in the mood. I'm tired. I'm this. I'm all this stuff. And then when she has a liquor, oh, it's you know, all out, have fun, whatever. Anyways, this happens, all right? The lack of attraction can happen for various reasons. Sometimes it's off. In that situation, it was from the jump. And you got to be mindful of that. Sometimes it's something that happened that may have cause her to lose attraction to you. It's not always a physical thing, meaning like, let's say she felt betrayed by you, you did something that can cause her to be less attracted, not be as comfortable being touched by you. But the difference between it being from the very beginning about lack of attraction and a loss of attraction later is, how was she from the beginning? So it's one thing if in the first 6 months she was very affectionate, this thing happens and you notice that the behavior changed after this conflict happened. Then it's more fair to say, oh, well, that conflict is affecting her and that is not allowing her to be as open and vulnerable with me in this way. However, if she was like this from day one, then we have to consider, okay, lack of attraction. The other thing that can be that's very common for a lot of women is due to past trauma. And I say past trauma because some people will say, well, no, I didn't go through anything. They may phrase it as, well, I grew up in a household that wasn't affectionate. All right? And this does happen. I personally still call that trauma because to me, it was an experience that negatively impacted the individual. And now they don't know how to operate in a healthy manner in relationships. All right? Because of whatever they were led to believe through their upbringing, whatever they were exposed to. Sometimes it is a more direct trauma that happened to them, sexual abuse, numerous things, okay? And it's not that there isn't any sympathy for people haven't gone through some real experiences that they haven't healed from. However, that's not a free pass to overlook this issue. You have to address it because, as I always say to people, the question you have to ask yourself is, will you be happy if this doesn't change? How long can you deal with this? All right? It can't just be, oh, well, that's just the way she is, so we're going to let this ride. No. It has to be addressed. She has to seek help. If she is unwilling to seek help and you're a man who desires more affection from your woman, she needs to go. It's not to be mean towards her or whatever. It's just the reality of, if you don't get it from her, whatever her reasons are, if you're unable to get it for her, at some point, it's going to cause you to stumble in ways that will still damage the relationship. It may not even be that you cheat on her. It may simply be that, hell, you start to become more miserable, irritable. You know what I'm saying? You end up not being as open or receptive to her in other ways. It's going to have a negative impact that destroys the relationship anyway. So there's no point in trying to force this along if you two cannot pour into each other what you both need. All right. But this is so much more common than some of y'all may realize. Some of you may realize it because you may be going through it right now. But I'm telling you, like, whether it be in the dating phase, relationship phase, in marriage, so many men are not getting the affection they need from their partners. But let's not wait that long. We got to nip it in the bud. And if it's not going to be corrected, this is another sign you need to let her go. All right. And now, so here's another big sign that you need to let a woman go, is that she's very disrespectful to you. Very disrespectful and consistently or constantly disrespectful to you. Now, again, there's a lot of men who may talk tough and may, in a general sense, typically be tough men when it comes to certain situations. But when it comes to that woman, they get a lot softer. And sometimes in getting a lot softer, let that woman cross lines she should not be allowed to cross. And when I say allowed to cross, it should not be tolerated. It should not be accepted. The reality is that if a woman disrespects you and you allow her to think this is okay, please believe you're going to be disrespected again. And you don't gain any points for allowing the disrespect. You don't get points for making excuses for it. You would actually gain her affection more by checking her. And when I say checking her, I don't mean being abusive. Don't put your hands on her. I'm not saying get disrespectful back in return. I'm saying there's a way to respectfully draw the line that says, this is unacceptable behavior. If this continues or this happens again, you're out of here. Plain and simple. And you can add listen, I love you, but this will not be tolerated. Plain and simple. She has to understand that there's lines she cannot cross. All right. Now, if we're trying to really establish and experience a healthy relationship, we do have to get to the root of why she even thought that was okay, or why she even allowed herself to cross that line to begin with. Because in digging deeper, you will be able to see clearer where's her head really at, and if this is a fixable thing. Because believe it or not, sometimes if you ask that woman, she might say, well, this is just the way I talk. That's how my family talk to each other. I don't think it's a big deal. Oh, all right. That's it. This ain't gonna work. Like, if she attempts to normalize this and say this should not be a problem, she can't fix something that she doesn't think is a problem. So there's nothing for you to try to rationalize and work past. All you can do at that point is say, well, you know what? It's a problem for me. Either you're going to accept and respect that, or we can't continue. And if she just doesn't accept it, so be it. End discussion. Now, if she says, you know what, I realize it was wrong. You know, I've had a habit of doing this, but I'll do better, or, you know, I'll make those changes. All right, cool. We can work with that because you're owning it. You're accepting that there needs to be a new way of doing things. Cool. Other than that, no. But the constant disrespect, again, what's hitting my spirit, if you ever watch my videos on my other channel, you know I have these moments where things hit my spirit. And what I feel the need to mention to you guys is, like, you know, be honest with yourself when and this is more specifically for men who've been with their women for a minute, be honest when you have poured disrespect into this relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be real with yourself. Have you done your part in not crossing those lines yourself? Or have you created a disrespectful environment as well? You know what I'm saying? I had a guy once, he stopped me in the middle of the street. He caught me when I was walking back from the gym. And he was real about it. You know, he acknowledged that he did a lot of toxic stuff. He was very disrespectful. He wants things to change now. You know what I'm saying? And so to me, it was beautiful in the sense that here was this man owning up to his part. He wasn't running from it in any kind of way. And he understood that it was going to take more work to kind of undo that toxic energy and rebuild something beautiful with the woman he wanted to be with. All right. But you got to be aware and willing to see that for what it is and not make excuses on your end. Because if you make excuses, then you're giving her a pathway to make her own excuses. You know what I'm saying? Lead in the relationship in the sense of leading by example, establishing this is the way we do things. And she can either get with the program or she's got to go. All right, so listen, here's the thing. So I gave you 3 huge signs. Of course, there's a lot more signs we could talk about, and there'll be future videos where we dive deeper into the other stuff. But I wanted to not get too long with this one, so I'm gonna wrap this up by saying this. You know, at the end of the day, you've got to be, again, aware of, is this a beneficial relationship or not? You've got to be honest with yourself about, why am I even trying to hold on to this woman? All right? What's really going on here? And is this really the one for me, or someone that I just don't want to let go of right now? Because if you just don't want to let go of her, whether it be because, again, maybe you guys, she helps you in other ways, but again, she's still a headache in your life. But those things she's helping you with, you find too important to lose right now. That's not healthy, man. And you're only causing more problems, dragging this along. You know, there's a lot of men who become so hurt when the relationship ends, when that woman breaks up with them. But those men don't realize, like, that was the best thing that could have happened to you. Like I always say, sometimes you don't lose a relationship, you were set free from it. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there. Relationships are the key to a successful life. But there's 5 areas that we have to be mindful of when it comes to relationships. There's relationship with God, relationship with ourselves, relationship with family and friends,